This is like take 3 or 4 of this video that I've tried to make. It's not going to be your normal, I guess, JCal video that you're used to seeing. Me poking fun at stuff, laughing, getting my hee-hees and ha-has out. This topic of video has been, it's been on my mind quite frequently, and I just figured that, I've prayed about it a lot. I've asked, you know, what I've asked, what can I do to spread the word, of Jesus Christ? And I've prayed about it so many times. So many nights I've just sat there and I've talked to God, man. I've been praying every night for probably the past 3 years, and you may think that's silly. Yeah, if you're not a follower in Christ, I strongly encourage you to look into it. Maybe hopefully this video will help you. There was there was a time that really led to this, I guess. So 2019 or 2020, one of those two. I was going through a lot. My first, I guess, like serious relationship or whatever, had just blown up. You know, she had been unfaithful with my best friend, which that really hurt. We'd been together probably like a year, and sounds silly, that I got this worked up about a person, whenever I was 15 or 16 years old. But that was my first, I guess, love experience, and having it, being betrayed like that in that way, obviously it's going to mess you up if you've been cheated on, broken up with or whatever. I'm sure you understand, I guess, what it feels like. And there was a period for about 2 years of my life where I was still hurt by that. I was very hurt by that, still in therapy. And then I started doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing. I started drinking at a pretty young age. Um, there was places in my area that you could buy it, buy alcohol, or you just sneak a couple drinks out of the liquor cabinet in the house. I was smoking a lot of weed at that time. It was whenever I started nicotine as well. So it was just a lot was happening at one time, and I shut myself out from the world. And then with the pandemic, the pandemic is where everything really started. There was I was by myself a lot, and it was just me a lot of the days. I got out, I still talked to people, but it wasn't as often. I would I played a lot of video games in that time. That's all I did. I kind of just stayed in my room and just played video games. And I was still wasn't happy. I hadn't done anything worthwhile to help myself, and I was going through quite a bit. I didn't ever talk to my parents about it. They knew that I was upset about it, but I never reached out to talk. I just always made it seem like I was fine. And around the same time, my brother also um, fell into addiction. He was doing a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have been doing, and thankfully now he's sobered up. But at the time, there was this one event in my life that really, I guess, kind of flipped the flipped how I live. There was it was October 5th of, oh, what year was it? Let me pull up the date. I don't want to be wrong. I guess it would have been 2024. 20 sorry. I guess it would have been October 5th, 2021 is where I really had my moment where I felt like God was real. I remember the week leading up to that. I don't think that there was a day that went by that I was completely sober. Um, so it was like 11:30 at night. It's getting pretty late. My parents are already asleep, and my brother had moved back in with us in the house, and he'd gotten off work and he'd just been sitting inside of his car and he was using it that time. And I was sitting inside of my room at the same time. Like I'd been praying every single day of the week that like I was just crying out. I was like, God just save me. Ooh, shit, hold on. Apologize. I'm back. I had to collect myself. I was sitting there and I was like, God just save me. I don't I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. Like before that, I had never really prayed, I guess. I hadn't reached out to God. I hadn't listened to his word. I hadn't been to church in probably like 8 years at that point. And I was just completely hopeless. I was like, God, just save me, please. I don't want to be here anymore. I'd been, um, I'd been very, I guess, suicidal. Um, and that night was, it was like every other night. I was sitting there, I was at my desk, I was just playing a game, and then I was zoned out completely. And then I thought, I'm gonna do it. This is, the night that I'm gonna do it. So I got up, and the gun case at the time was in my room. Again, my parents, they didn't know that any of this was going on. I went back, and I started walking towards where the gun case is. And, because I was like in the back room of the house, it was just a big room. It was a remodeled garage that was turned into a bedroom. So, we had in the back corner, and then there was a false wall put up, and that was my area. I was walking back there to get it, and then my door opens, and it's my brother. He walks. Oh my goodness! I gotta pause again. Sorry, I had to recollect myself and lock in. Um, he walked right into my room, and we almost ran into each other. And he just took one look at me, and then he just asked me if I was okay. And he was like, I had a weird feeling. It was just really weird. I just had to come in here and check on you. And dude, I just hugged him. That's all I could do. And then I told him, what I was about to do. Or I guess he told me first what he was about to do. He was in his car and he had his gun loaded and he was about to do the same thing I was. And he just he just stopped himself and well, like practically ran inside to come and check on me and see what I was up to and what I was doing because we were about to do the same thing. And he just told me he just had like this overwhelming urge to come inside and check on me. And man, we talked for hours, dude. We just talked for so long. And I told him I was like, dude, I've been in the back seat this whole time. I've not been happy. I've been struggling. And I've been praying to God like somebody save me, somebody, intervene and somebody talk to me, dude. I just want to be talked to. I just want to be told everything's going to be okay. And we sat there and we probably talked till like 4 in the morning. And we both had to work the next day. We were at the same place. And it was just that experience of being right there. Like, I mean, I was 4 feet from I was 4 feet from doing it, and he just stepped right in the way, and he just talked with me. That's all I wanted. I just wanted somebody to talk to me, and I feel like he was, sent to the house that day to just talk to me. And I haven't, like, the only people that know this story, like, literally, literally just my parents and my brother, bro. Like, they're the only people that know about this. Like, my friends, they have an idea. They know that I've struggled in the past, but they never knew the story. Because I felt like, for some reason, I don't know, I just felt like, they would make fun of me, like, oh, that's just complete coincidence. I just, dude, I don't know. I know that, I definitely had God with me there on that day. There's been, several instances since then that I've felt like I've been with God. And since that night, I started praying, weekly. I do like once a week prayers. I talk to him. And then, it become a couple times a week. Just whenever I was, feeling down, I just talked to him. And then it became a daily thing where we just talk. I'd sit there, I'd go on, and then I noticed I'd feel better and better every single time. Like just getting it out before it didn't help me feel the way that praying made me feel, man. There was a time recently where I was just going through it. I had lost my girlfriend at the time, and it was probably 3 months later. I'm in my back seat, I'm not doing well. Figurative back seat, not my actual back seat. I have to, I drive my truck, not sit in the back seat. But I was coming home. I don't know what I was doing, if I'm being honest. I think maybe I was just driving around. I I pulled into my church's parking lot, and dude, I sat there and I talked to him for probably like, I mean it had to have been at least half an hour, and I just asked God to help me, and help God, like I just asked for him to be with me, dude. Like I feel like I got into a routine with praying of there wasn't really, I felt like I was just losing my connection with him because I hadn't put effort in. And whenever you start, you know, getting in a comfortable routine and you start, just asking, right? I feel like it's not the same whenever, I don't know. I just feel like it's not the same as sitting there and talking to him, talking about your day, talking about your struggles every time. I always just prayed that he would keep my family and my friends, my animals all safe, keep them in good health. And he always did, but I never prayed for myself. I never talked to God. I never told God a prayer that was fulfilling to myself. I would just go through my routine. I wouldn't sit there and talk to him. That night, I talked. I asked him to help me with my anxiety, the depression that I was feeling. I asked him to help me with so much, and then the next morning, I woke up. I woke up and I felt like none of it had happened. I felt like, that sadness and the, anxiety and depression that I felt never existed. God answered my prayer, and every single time that I notice I feel myself losing connection with Him, I always start getting anxious. I always start feeling upset. I start feeling depressed, and I feel like it's because I'm losing connection with God, and my mind knows that. I just I just wanted to, I guess, share my little story on how I, came to know Jesus and come to meet Him. If you've watched it, this far, I just ask that you, I just ask that you pray, you know, you thank God, you really talk to Him, and you don't just get in a comfortable routine. If you're looking for, you know, if you're looking for proof of Jesus, if you're looking for ways to know that He's real, I just ask that you ask your questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm totally open to doing another video like this. I really, you know, it feels good to finally make this video and kind of open up about my faith and how I feel. Um, God bless each and every one of you. Cletus, calm down. God bless each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have a good night.